so pretty. Wait. Oh, look at them pretty people. Oh. Squeeze and drop. They tried to clip my wings, but I managed to keep on flying, and I cried when I spread my wings, but the wind kept me from falling. Plus, my determination was undying. The air beckoned me, calling out like a jury summons, and I had my doubts. But after crawling to the ledge of my existence, I decided stalling would get me nowhere, because death in search of success is better than failure in life. Completely unaware of capabilities for lack of agility, or should I say failure to take initiative initially. So I became proactive in my quest to live, seeking to give back what was bestowed. I did what was in my soul and my spirit. I stood amid the buyers and bid for my destiny, watched some purchase a faith and handle it recklessly, and I admit that I was careless and did it too, but I had an epiphany somewhere halfway through it all, and that's why I stand here now in front of y'all, a mockingbird with words melting from the candlelight that ignites my passion. And I am prepared to set 1,000 to flight, fashioned to fight for God's plight and never bite my tongue. A vessel, I now come forth, pouring out the liquid of my experience. May it run its course through the veins of your heart, traveling as a sojourner, irrigating, caught up in the drains of your thoughts. And this motivation is something you ought to have. Never let fear grab your dreams, keep you from transferring them, deferring them like Langston said, but rather nurturing them until they are bred, fed with positivity. See, I have learned what you believe to be true will make itself a reality, manifesting itself right in front of you, evolving from the words you speak, the thoughts you think, and the company that you keep. Because you can't accept everyone's critique. And don't let anyone brush your future bleak. When rejected, rise and shake the dust from your feet. Focus on the whole puzzle instead of an individual piece, and one day your vision will be complete. God, give us substance our minds can eat, because lately I don't have the energy to compete in this rat race where people discriminate against me in my face, telling me what I can't do, weighing my talent to see who I measure up to, disapproving of the moves I've made, waiting to debate me with no legitimate reason to hate me, so judgmental and berating, constantly demonstrating demonic tendencies with phonic negativity. There be my chronic enemies, caustically offending, sometimes fakely befriending, but always verbally clipping at my wings, not allowing me the freedom to fly and muting my voice so I cannot sing. Oh Lord, I now bring severed, tapered feathers for your healing, extending them while stepping off the ledge. Your wind song summons me to release hurt and step off the edge. My flight is now a soaring melody in harmony with my destiny. I now commit my poetry, for you are the voice that was calling. So though I cried when I spread my wings, God, it was you that kept me from falling. Now unto him who is able to keep us from falling. What up, Scrooston? How y'all feeling today?
Good!
Like, vocab, we're cold. That's all we feel. There's no emotions. There's just cold, right? I was over there, just my back was just like hurting and frozen. I was like, my God. Thanks for the cookies and the gumbo. Thank you for sticking around to the end. Y'all like, I'm trying to win $30. Forget you ain't about you. It's about this $30 I'm trying to win. Either way, we're here together. And I got a few more poems for you. I'm going to alternate between short poems and long poems to give your ear a break. I have CDs for sale. I got my music CD, which is a mixtape, and then I got my poetry CD. All of it is set to music because I love music. So this would have been my intro poem, but they told me to come hard at first because they said something about passing the hat. I don't know if they're going to do that or not. Who knows? Who cares? This is the intro poem. Spirit of spirits, word and power, aura and truth, emanating life, we imitate expressions for you. Some find the name sacred, God. Some utter it profuse, God. Letting virtue drip from their lips like youth into eternity. The most intuitive parts of me senses, rinses my soul in light. Gratitude for existence. I am thankful to be counted among other living souls. Embody the imprint of your essence, whole. And I choose spoken word to create. I choose spoken word to create, to mimic, mirror, parrot, resign, resemble, assembly of language in a myriad motion forth from my mouth, meticulously, articulately spoken out, making majestic shouts of God's movement, routed ability, grooves and fluidity, physically presented and staged embodiment for the infinite coming of age, circling from the pages of holy scrolls, syntax of an accent rolled from the tongue of one, pressed from the thresholds of his lips, my cosmic origin, our cosmic origin. Woo! So, like every other poet, I got a work poem, and I'm gonna do a work poem, because that's what you're supposed to write about, how your job inspires you but pisses you off, and you're amazed by everything that happens there, yet you're so devastated at the same time. I'm no different from the rest of the poets that write these poems. But I want to encourage you all. I've heard a lot of people speaking about their mental and emotional health, and I'm going to speak to some of that as we go along. You are not alone, and in the moments where you feel the most alone, reach out, and other people reach in, because if you see someone struggling, it's on you to help them, and it's on us to help ourselves as well. So bless y'all. Oh, don't do that, Andrea. Thank you for the snaps. I love it. I love it. All right. True story. So I have two jobs. The anniversary for my primary job just passed on November 19th. I've been there 16 years, and this is a true story. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah!
Yeah, I'm be retiring when I turn 41. Y'all know me like that.
Yeah!
Woo! Nice. All right. True story. I am smitten tonight, bitten by fright, folding my heart under fluorescent light, incessant rattling in a fight before midnight because this one came in drunk. The officer said she stunk the funk of no showers and desolation, prostitution, her sole means of preservation, destination unknown. She ran away from home intoxicated by the cologne of death and destruction. Functioning marginally on the verge of 15, she is all toxic. Pregnant and AIDS positive, doing whatever she can to live. Diabetic and sick as an infirmary with nothing to give the world but grief. All alone. I only hear suffering when she speaks. Her shoes are pink and they lay prostrate under door number 8 as she sits and waits for processing, you see. I work the 3rd shift at Juvenile Detention Center, and every time I enter that building, I get the distinct feeling of childhood burdens, peeling away the weightlessness of my personal life. I thought I knew strife and hard times until I saw these teenagers facing hard time for the crimes of delinquency. The frequency of their screams disturbed my dreams, but I can't nod off on my shift. Responding to routine checks as officers inspect rooms one by one, and our job ain't done until someone comes to relieve us, so I just sit all night. Search the silence around me, fight the sleep that astounds me, trying not to feel as caged and enraged as the youths we supervise. Mostly the girls cry. The boys seldom do, but the agony and desperation in their faces always holds true. And you've never seen brokenness until it's reflected through the soul of a child. And you've never seen tragedy and ruthlessness gone wild until you've seen the faces attached to the files on these hardship cases. And while I sit in main control and juvenile officers patrol, I see their souls stack up 2 by 2. But I want to take their shoes and throw them back in the face of every dilemma that brought them here. This center is like a Noah's Ark of dejection and fear, gathering shoes 2 by 2, herding them in. We try to provide shelter from the storm outside, but tell me, is there really shelter inside when their minds torture them with guilt and circumstance? Rehabilitation is a luxury. Can they be afforded a second chance? And some do a dance with fate like the girl sitting behind door number 8, inflating demons' egos. Fate just stepped on her toes. Her future will be lethal, like the AIDS that she passes to her unborn, because those pink shoes know the scorn of innocence torn. And she just sits, and she sits, and she mourns because she is a sufferer. But I can't help but wonder, will she finally drown when she's released from this ark without us to cover her from the rain and the pain that stains those 2 pink shoes? Woo! Thank you. True story. And the night that that little girl came in was, it was terrible. She was in a way. And if you ever run out of things to pray about the youth, because I guarantee you they're coming into Harris County prisons, and there is a pipeline. It's a real thing, the pipeline. And all of them, for the most part, are minority youth, and it's not an accident. All right. I spoke to the river. I had so much to say, and I talked to the river. She answered me in ways. I once asked the water, do you recognize me? My whole body a river, frame that flows and ripples deep within, coursing to the currents of beauty, liquid hearth, gurgling with inseparable droplets, always inviting. My entire habitat encompassing, salted and fresh, full and rushing with life, never dammed or receding, and certainly never stagnant. My movement a fluid feminine rhythm, trickling or hasty through valleys and mountains. I wind. I am no pond, yet at times I resemble an ocean. I once asked the water, do you recognize me? I sat still, waited for an answer. All I saw was my reflection in the flux and waves. And I spoke to the river. I had so much to say, and I talked to the river. She answered me in ways. Woo! Thank you. So, I started out slamming like around 2004, 2005. So I'm one of the older generations of slam poets that graduated on to just doing spoken word performances, and it's really a pleasure to be here and so intimidating to see all these fresh, beautiful new faces that have joined this family of slam. I want to encourage you. There is no glass ceiling. It's what you make it. Woo! Use all of these opportunities, but don't only focus on yourself, because there's so much that you can learn from this. I want to thank you for your time, and I'm assuming you're here. No, I'm not done. Okay, I was like, okay, I think I'm done. Okay, go ahead.
We don't want her to finish yet, you know. But this is the awkward part of the show where I pass around the tip jar. Vocab came here all the way from San Antonio, Texas, to perform poetry for us. We want to make sure that she has enough money to get home and come back again and visit us. Yeah. What do y'all think of Vocab so far? So I'm going to pass around this tip jar. Also, I'm going to ask you, do you have any merchandise for sale?
I do. Yeah, I got merchandise. Again, I can take PayPal, Venmo, and the Cash App. I got all the electronics, but I don't have any change. So if you got exact change, my CD's only $5.
Only $5?
You can't afford not to buy it!
Thank you. I see you've trained them well.
And then I'm going to get off the stage and give it back to Vocab.
Y'all give a hand for Amir Safi. Waterburger's own Amir Safi.
Hey.
Man. Always representing for the all beef patties. He made it so cool to be a poet, yo. Like, y'all don't even know how proud other cities in Texas are of Amir Safi for just like straight up being like, you know what? Because here's the thing about poets, as I pull out this next piece, we're crazy enough to believe that everything needs poetry. Like, you know, you got a sign that says no talking allowed. We're like, they could have made that more poetic. You know, you hear a president giving a speech, not the one we have right now, and you're like, man, you know that speech needs more poetry. Like, we think everything needs poetry. We don't give a damn what it is. The ingredients on a bottle needs more poetry. So we're just happy that he spoke up, because we all love the Whataburger, and they just need to go on ahead and get that vegetarian burger on, and then like no one will be left out, no one will be excluded. Because you're tired of just eating side salads, aren't you, vegans and vegetarians? Aren't you tired of just the side salad? She's like, nah, I like it. She's like, I'm cool with that. So this poem is for women who got, okay, so there was a woman in the 19th century, in 18th century, named Sarah Bartman, who was known as Venus, Hottentot Venus. And she was in a European freak show, and you could pay money to go see her and gaze upon her and poke her and measure her body parts. And so I saw so much of myself in her and in her story. And when she died, I dissected her body, and then it became part of what's called scientific racism, where they basically tried to prove that Africans are related to primates, orangutans, and apes, and what have you, because, you know, we can't be human. Couldn't possibly be. So I wrote this poem for her and for anyone who has ever felt like their body, you'll hear it. You'll figure it out. This one's called Venus Upon Your Landing. And I'm really, really passionate about performing this one here tonight. So I was like, I'm gonna read it because it's not memorized. Upon your landing, they will think of you a materialized figment, scoff secretly snickering at your savagery. They will shield their eyes from the monstrosity, select the parts of you that disgust them most, then discuss them most. Find themselves too fascinated to turn away. They will describe your four lips with foreign tongues, think you enigma, call you gorilla with pale pointed fingers like death gesturing the gateway to Sheol, like an accusatory congregation turned executioners, They want to crucify your image, bleed you dry in their crosshairs, cage your spirit, yet set your body free. Your every movement will become their amusement and your misery. You are too tribal for their rhythm. Your body is lost in a drum. You are stretched beyond this atmosphere. Your brown is too buttery. It slides across their cuticles as they poke. They want to stroke away your strength, strip your buttocks nude, and behold the leagues of your depth. They have dissected your limbs, yet they cannot grasp your raw anatomy. You are beyond their comprehension. Your presence commands too much attention. The sight of you burns holes into their psyche. You are a crater in the memory so massive. Upon landing, you caused a sonic boom, consumed all of their energy sources like a blackout. They cannot concentrate. In return, they will devour your flesh in every way imaginable. Their ears will ring like the belts and bolts of light that surround your plump belly. They hunger for your different. You taste rich upon their palate, but you turn so rancid in the gullet, they cannot digest you fully. They will gag upon regurgitated remains. Their throats will sizzle with acidic bile, commingled like a Roomba with all of your flavors. You are a heaved up form that they will slip curses under the skin of. And upon your landing, all that remains is a vomited beautiful. Woo! So I'm gonna try to do this poem for my best friend that came over here, despite the fact that she's working on her PhD. Yeah. I was like, if I were you, Dulcie, I would just go home. I wouldn't even came out. I'm like, I'ma just, boop, I love you, girl. You know I love you. Best friend since 2007, and we met in 2004 at a slam situation, you know what I'm saying? And I knew she'd be my best friend, and it's always gonna be that way. So this is my last poem. I'm gonna get out the way. Let's see. I'm gonna try to do this one for her. It's called The Opiate. She sips lonely like it's freshly brewed, never stirs in sugar cubes, vapors rising from percolating emotions and steeping memories. She drinks this cup empty. I'm not gonna do that poem. Not gonna do it.
Rewind?
Yes.
Do you? Do you?
All right. Yep.
Remix.
Let's do this one instead. Yeah. We want a bubble. We want to shine like every day. So some of us hustle, and some of us have no time to play. We stay in the rubble. There's peril and trouble where we lay. We rep the struggle, yeah. But there's got to be a better way. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da, yeah. Da 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 da. You want a bubble like baking soda, vinegar in a cut. Want a bubble like indigestion that churns in your guts. But what about ruts and pitfalls up in your way, baby? It's so pitiful when you stuck on delay and you stuck in replay of all your past mistakes, and you want to succeed, but you don't know what path to take. You can't seem to shake destructive traits bred in your DNA. Mumble muted prayers, but really don't know what to say. The grief ain't never brief when you sway in a valley of decision, and your vision starts to fade. parade, and you fall prey to procrastination, lay idle, latently stay slay, moment after moment, but there's no time to play, and there's no time to stray, and there's no time to fray, and there's no time to wait, cause destiny is today. So bubble, baby, bubble, yo, wherever, come what may, I say bubble, baby, bubble, We want to bubble, we want to shine like every day, so some of us hustle, and some of us have no time to play, we stay in the rubble. There's peril and trouble where we lay, we rep the struggle, but there's got to be a better way, da 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 da, yeah. Da 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 da, yeah. Da 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 da.
Yeah!
Thank you. Thank you, Houston, Texas. Appreciate y'all. If you want to follow me on Facebook, it's Andrea Vocab Sanderson. If you want to follow me on Instagram, it's Vocabulous. I have cards at my table. You ain't got to buy anything. Just come by, hug me, because it's cold out here and we all need hugs. Woo!
Give it up for Vocab!
Hey!